Yo, 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 what is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Golden State Warrior Fan Room, presented to you by myself, your host, Jeremy, and my other guy here, Justin. A weekly guest. Anytime I do this show, you always come on and show love, so shout out to him, who's finally able to make this happen. If you know, you know. Me and this man has been engaging in text for over a month now, but we could never get on the same schedule. But yeah, here we are. And yeah, man, we're here to talk about the Golden State Warriors. A lot to kind of dive into. But before we dive into any topics, my guy, Justin, how you doing today, bro?
I'm doing all right. I just had a basketball game in one of my leagues that I'm playing in. We actually lost in the championship, but it's all good.
Oh man.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact you got to go from that to talk about the Golden State Warriors don't make it no better. So
Right.
yeah, but it is what it is. But nah, sucks to hear that though. But y'all go shake back for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, off the top of the head, the Golden State Warriors are the eighth seed in the Loaded Western Conference. Their record is we 13 and 14, 7 and 4 at home, and 6 and 10 on the road. Initially, bro, like just fire away. Like, what are your thoughts on what you've seen from the Warriors this far this season? Because this is our first time linking up, I think,
Mhm.
this season. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on what you've been seeing?
Yeah, disappointed, definitely. I mean, they obviously had a really tough early schedule. I think some of those losses were scheduled losses,
Fair.
but you look
Fair.
back at, the 14 losses they got, they should be in the mix with the at least 3 to 4 seed. You look at they lost to Portland 3 times. Portland is not a good team. It's a bad matchup, but it's not a good team. They should have won at least 2 of those 3.
Yeah.
Lost to Indiana without all their players. Lost to Milwaukee without Giannis. Lost to the Kings. Yeah. So they just got a lot of bad losses. That's the thing. They got some good wins. They beat Denver. They beat San Antonio twice. They beat the Lakers, albeit without LeBron. First game of the season. But they got some good wins. So it just shows how the big gap between the ceiling and the floor of this team, and that's kind of like why they are where they are. They can win some good games, but they can also lose some terrible games, and it just averages out to just a mid team. And that's what they've been.
Yeah, fair enough. Great points. But I will say this I think it's 75% on the team as well as on the coaching staff. And then
Mm,
also, to be fair, it's 25% the guys they're facing. It's like these unknown players just decides to have like these crazy nights. Like you mentioned Indiana. I think it was
yeah.
his name is Quentin Jackson or something. The
Yep.
man went crazy. I actually followed him. The next 3 games, he did nothing. So
Yeah.
when you got guys doing stuff like that, I think Aaron Neesmith, he was shooting horrible that whole month, and he couldn't miss a shot that night. So when you have guys having no type of performances, it's just crazy. This past Sunday, Jeremy Grant he felt like he couldn't miss. Shaden Sharp is a 23% 3-point shooter, and he was knocking it down. So you kind of get the memo here,
And
bro. Like it just some when teams play the Golden State Warriors, you got to show up and show out. So
and I'm really sick of people saying that, oh, they just shooting open, so of course they're going to make it, or like it's something that the Warriors doing that's like making these bad players have good games, and like maybe it is, but let's let's be a little bit realistic, right? These guys are bad shooters because they miss open shots.
right, yeah, exactly, yeah,
That's why they shooting 20% from three.
right.
You think every other team in the league is just guarding them up from three? That's why they shooting 23%? No, they shooting open against other teams too, and they're missing them. So like I'm just so sick of that like cop out people saying it's the Warriors. The Warriors got the number 2 defense in the league, which is really like the number 1 defense in the league because the Thunder's defense is on another planet. So compared to everybody else, the Warriors got the best defense in the league. So I'm not
Right.
trying to hear that they just like they can't play defense, bro. Like these dudes are legitimately just finding some magic juice. Like they finding the mics, this Space Jam secret stuff, and they just hitting these crazy shots, and it's annoying as hell.
Yeah, but to be fair though, bro, like you have to play the percentages. Like to your point, there's a reason they're being left open. Like we can't just sit
Hmm.
up there and just close out hard. If a guy like Shaden Sharp shooting 23%, and then all of a sudden he hits the free threes, now we want to switch it up. Like we still got to play it by percentage. Like if we have one
Exactly.
of those nights where he hitting, kudos to him, but we have to live with that though. We
Right.
got to pick our poison. So
And Shaden was hitting. Shaden was contested.
yeah,
Jeremy was open, but Shaden was hitting step back contested threes, bro.
yep.
Like I'm really not trying to
And
hear
also
nothing.
like, aren't the Trailblazers like bottom in like 3-point shooting
Yes,
or something
they're
like that?
like one of the best like shot generating teams in the league in terms of quality of shots, and they're one of the worst like shot making teams in the league. So they legitimately shoot good shots against everybody and just miss. But they made them against us. Like,
yeah, that's a bad combination though. Like you taking the right shots, but you're not making them.
That's the Warriors too, though. The Warriors are up there too. Yeah.
Fair enough, but nonetheless, though, bro, like when I go down the roster right now, like Steph, like it's just mind-boggling, like what this man is still doing in his age, like nearly averaging 30, and just still playing at the elite high level. But when I go down the roster besides him, you got Jimmy averaging 19. That's cool for a second option, I'd say. But here's where the big question mark comes in for me. Jonathan Kuminga 12. Has not been in the rotation the past couple of weeks. Brandon Podziemski 12, Moses Moody 11. It's like between those three guys, you don't know who the third consistent guy is every night. And that is a problem. Like when you look at a team like Oklahoma City, it's kind of obvious who the top three guys is over there.
Right.
Jet, SGA, J-Dub. Between those three guys, they're going to give you 20 plus points every night. If not every night, for sure every other night, something like that. So when I look at this team besides Steph and Jimmy, I don't know who else is going to give us a guaranteed 15 plus points on a night-to-night basis. And that to me is a problem. Like come playoff time, you're going to need that third consistent scorer for sure. When the game slows down and if Steph is struggling, Jimmy can't get his shots off, you're going to need a third guy to kind of come in and take over the game. And so I just want to get your thoughts. Like, what do you think that we can do to improve that, bro? Like, obviously, there are a lot of trades being thrown out there, like Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, potentially Michael Porter Jr. There's a lot of guys out there that kind of help fill that void for sure. But just what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's multiple ways you can go about it. You can do third option by committee, kind of like 2014 Spurs-ish, where you got a bunch of dudes that's averaging an efficient 11, 12 plus. Like Moses got his 11, Paz got his 12, Kuminga got his, what was it, like 13, whatever, 12. But it's like, I mean, Moses is probably the most efficient of those three, and he's like obviously a little bit streaky with his shot, and he's not a guy that's going to consistently score inside the 3-point line. So they obviously need to probably trade, right? Like you also look at the contracts and you say, well, Draymond's making the third most money, but he's not a scorer at all. This is the worst he's scoring in his career. So that's problematic as well. Like your third most expensive player is not really giving you much on offense. So you're going to have to find a lot of offense from players that are making significantly less money than him, right? So when guys are like really putting it on like Moses and they're so inconsistent, it's like, man, Moses is making $11 million a year. Like, what are you expecting him to be like Jordan Poole? Like, you're really expecting him to be a $30 million player making $11 million? Like, he's not going to be 17, 18 points a game, lockdown shooter every game. He's getting paid appropriately. And his role is appropriate. What they need to do is what they expected was Kuminga to be that type of player. And obviously, he can score, but it's just like a bit of a wacky fit. And then I got all the other politics and stuff that's going along with it. So they need to probably trade him for sure. And they need to get back some offense for him. And then in addition to that, you come to Pods. Right now, Pods is $3 billion. He's on his rookie deal. But they look Klay Thompson in the face and say, you're not starting over Pods when you come back. You know what I mean? So that puts a lot of pressure on Pods. Like if you're going to put a guy like Klay Thompson out the door for Pods better be that guy that can get you 15, 16 a game, efficient every game. Yep. So they put that target on him. They put the target on JK. Those two guys aren't qualified for that role. And that's where we at now. Draymond is third most paid, Kuminga's fourth most paid, and Pods has that next pressure put on him by the front office to be that guy. And none of those three have stepped up offensively the way that they need to really support Steph and Jimmy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all great points for sure. When we drafted Moses, bro, I kind of always said, like, I think he could be like a poor man's Chris Middleton. From a defensive standpoint, he can kind of create for himself a little bit, get to the cup. And you brought up a great point. Like, you can't hold a guy like Moses to the expectation of a Jordan Poole. It just does not make sense. Two different players. Moses more defense, Jordan Poole more offense. They don't really kind of play the same, so it don't make sense to kind of hold him to that standard of a Jordan Poole. And then saying that, bro, like not to be funny here, but anytime when Draymond is having like a high scoring night, you know we in for a long night. And that's just the truth. Like anytime when you look at the box score and we're at halftime, you see Draymond Green has 10 points, that kind of tells you the type of night it's going to be, with all due respect. But yeah, we desperately need to kind of figure this out. Like I like the example you gave with the 2014 Spurs. That's a great point, but I just need a level of consistency. Like I need to know who's going to be the third guy on this team every single night. Like when you look at a team like Oklahoma City, like I just alluded to, you know who their guys is over there. Their role players play their role to the T, and so we just kind of need to try to do it like that a little bit. Like obviously,
I agree.
like we did it once before. Steph, Clay, KD, those were our three guys. We got Steph and Jimmy. Just need to get that third person figured out for sure. But man, I cannot let Steve Kerr off the hook, man. Honestly, bro, I kind of feel dumb because it's like the past couple of years I have been defending this man so hard and hard and hard. But it's like the comments he made the other day, I was like, bro, he said that he had to sit Real Richards down. It was like, he gonna kind of play the vets a little bit more for stuff that they did back then. And it's like when you a young guy, bro, Will Richard, he has come in and did everything right. Like he literally makes no mistakes for the most part. He knows when to cut. He defends without fouling. He knocked down his shots. He played within the offense. And so when I come to see Steve Kerr play a guy like Buddy over Will Richards, just bothers me so much. Even GP2 to an extent, even though he hasn't been as bad, but it's like play that guy. He's young. He understands the system. I mean, Jimmy Butler loves playing with him. He said it on multiple occasions. He loved playing with Will Richard. Like he plays the right way. But the point I'm trying to make is like we are 28 games in, and Steve Kerr said that he has done a horrible job coaching. I think something like that. Well, he has not been coaching or something. And it's like, wow, man, like, wow.
He ain't wrong.
Just, I don't know, bro, but it's just like I feel like Will Richards should definitely get more minutes for sure. Though, like, what are your thoughts on like Steve Kerr and his coaching? Any improvements that need to be made? Well, obviously, do that record. So,
yeah, I mean, the fact that they've had like 10 different starting lineups is clearly, he's trying to play whack-a-mole out there. He's trying to find like one thing don't work. Okay, let me plug this guy in. Okay, now it's a new hole. Let me plug this. Okay, now it's a new weakness. Let me plug this. It's like, man, just stick with something that can allow you to develop an identity at least. And you can go to the trade deadline and say, okay, this is a clear weakness for our team. We have a clear strength and we got a clear weakness. Let's fill the weakness via the trade deadline or whatever the case may be. But what he's been doing is like putting all these different combinations and lineups out there, and it's a different weakness every game.
yeah.
So it's like that's why a lot of these role guys aren't consistent because their roles are just like going up and down and sideways.
Changing constantly.
Like, yeah, it's changing. The combinations that he's putting together just don't make sense to me. He's early in the season when Al Horford was still playing. He's playing Steph, Al Horford, and then 3 guards. Like it'd be like Buddy, Pat Spencer, and Pods with them. And I'm like, dude, Steph and Al are your 2 oldest players on the team, and you're playing them with 3 unathletic, short players playing out of position. That doesn't make any sense. And those lineups get blitzed. They can't guard and they can't rebound. And it didn't help that Al Horford wasn't really hitting shots until like more recently. So they couldn't score either. So I'm like, that's just not smart right there. Like, if anything, you need to put Post or somebody younger with Steph or Draymond with him. He kept putting Draymond with Jimmy together without Steph. The offense sucked because it's 2 dudes that can't really shoot, don't want to shoot threes. So it's just little stuff like that he's been doing all season that I'm like, bro, when did you start doing this type of stuff? It wasn't until the last couple games he started putting Steph and Draymond back together with the non-starters, and those was doing okay. But I'm like, why did it take this long to do that?
Yeah.
So it's little stuff like that. Will Richard definitely should be playing over Buddy. Buddy's terrible. Steve has this thing with veterans where he gives them chance after chance after chance for too long. And yeah, Buddy needs to sit. Will should play. At least somewhat he should play. I think they need to lean more into their size They keep going small to try to find some type of offensive flow, but they don't get it. So you might as well at least be a big team that don't got offensive flow. You're being small and you don't have any offense. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm looking for Steve to play a little bit bigger, keep Guy Santos in the rotation, keep Trace in the rotation. Even when Al Horford come back, Trace should still be playing.
Yep.
Yeah, even when Kuminga gets back in the rotation, Trace should still be playing. So, like, just play big. If you're not going to have great offense anyway, at least you won't get killed on the boards. At least you'll be able to defend somewhat. You'll have some athletes out there. So we'll see if he turns it around. But so far, he has not had a good coaching season to me.
No. A lot of people shit on Trace too, bro. Like, I don't know if I still got
this season.
Yeah, he's been solid though, bro. Like, you got to understand, bro. Like, with all due respect to Trace, he was picked as late as he was for a reason. Him coming to Golden State, him playing out Steph, CP3 at the time, we making him look good. But trust me, it was the reason he dropped down that low. So I'm saying that he's been very, very solid to start the year off. You brought up a lot of great points. Guy Santos definitely should be in rotation, should stay in there. You're gonna need guys like that who hustles, play hard every night, bringing that energy. Pat Spencer, man, I love what I've been seeing from him. It's gonna be kind of hard to play all those guards at one time, though. I will say that. But I just want Steve Kerr to kind of realize this. With all due respect, sir, the small ball days are over, and it's okay to move on from that. Like
we just don't have the team to play it. We don't have a roster for it.
True. Occasionally, you can go small with Dre at the 5, just depending on the matchup. Mm-hmm. But I kind of like before we got into the season, I was like, man, when we signed Al Horford, bro, it was a lot of people saying that the starting line was going to be Steph, Jimmy, Dre, and Al Horford. I was like, no. Quentin Post should be the starting center of this team. And you see that defensively, this man has taken a leap. He has gotten stronger, and he has been more disciplined on the defensive side of things. So I'm saying that over the course of a regular 82-game season, you're going to need young guys to be in the rotation. You can't just depend on your veterans night in and night out. Like, it's a long season. And that's why I was kind of happy that Steve Kerr started playing Trace more, because you want to keep the young guys involved. You don't want to just constantly let them stack up DNPs night after night. So, like, just to me, the 4 guaranteed starters should always been Steph, Jimmy, Dre, and Quentin Post. It's interchangeable between Moses and I like Will Richard in the starting lineup. Like, between those two guys, they can guard ball. And if one of those guys get in foul trouble, you can just switch them out. I wouldn't necessarily be mad at De'Anthony Melton as well. When he kind of get his feet wet a little bit more, he's another defender, but he also can handle the ball as well, take the pressure off Steph and Jimmy to kind of, roam a little bit off the ball. So, man, Steve Kerr, you got to tighten up for sure. I don't know if I think Kuminga deserves to be out of the rotation, because, like, obviously it's not helping every time we win a game. It has been without him in the rotation. So, but I do think that he can have some type of role off the bench for sure.
He's coming back in. I think Steve said he's coming back in the rotation.
Yeah, like a player like Kuminga, bro, it's all about the lineup that you have around him. Like, if you playing him, Jimmy, and Draymond, it's gonna be hard, man. Like, on a night-to-night basis, because you just alluded to it, like, Jimmy and Draymond do not want to shoot the ball. So it kind of forces Kuminga to be like that guy that knocks down the three-pointer at a consistent basis more than those two guys. And they can get away with it because they're the veterans on the team or whatnot. But in saying that, though, I just want the best for Steph, though. Like, when you see this guy do this every single night, he gave Minnesota 39. He just gave the Trailblazers 48. And he just makes it look so damn easy. Like, just imagine if we were to get a Trey Murphy or a Daniel Gafford, like, those guys around Steph, like, the gravity feeding off that, like, man, like, and the fact that we're a top 2 defensive team, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah, and then we're still kind of figuring this thing out. But nonetheless, though, Buddy Hield should definitely be out of the rotation, at least for now. Because thing about a Buddy, if he's not making his threes, he's kind of like useless in a sense. Although defensively he has been more solid, but if he's not knocking down his shots, then he kind of useless in my opinion. But
yeah,
Brandon, thing with Brandon though, man, he kind of brought this upon himself too. He was kind of going out there mentioning he want to be better than Steph, and saying things like that. He just kind of bring unnecessary heat on you. And I thought Draymond kind of did a good job of speaking on that. Just in so many words, know your role, young fella. Like, having that pressure, being the next great thing ain't
Mhm.
always pretty. And
And
with
I
all
think
due
they added fuel to that fire though with the whole Clay situation from when he was a rookie. He came in, he had a great rookie season, and they was pretty much like, yeah, like you got the keys now. You starting next season. Clay, if he come back, he gonna be your backup. It's like, of course he's gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm like that. Like I'm the guy, you know. Um, so, but I mean, it's obviously him too. Like he just has his natural confidence and stuff like that. But I think it was both the front office backing him and the coaching staff. Every time Steve Kerr talk about him, he's raving about him, which is fine. But like, yeah, they pumped his head up for sure.
hmm Yeah, I mean it's cool, but Brandon got to kind of be aware too. Like this ain't the same Clay Thompson of old neither, though. So this is
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
true.
like later in the Clay Thompson career. So how much better are you than him at least at this stage of his career? So
Hmm.
I wouldn't have took too much of it, but no, man. We played Phoenix 2 times this week. And like I just said, we the 8 seed. So if we were to win those games, we would jump up to the 7 seed.
Yeah,
Okay,
pretty
yeah.
much. Yeah, we would just flip spots with them. They're the 7th seed right now.
Yeah, so this is something that I kind of like don't like to talk too much about because I call it like mental masturbation. Like I'm talking about trades because the thing is they can be so tricky, man. Like we the Warriors, like teams ain't trying to help us; they trying to finesse us, if anything. So in saying that, though, like what are some targets out there that you got your eyes on? Like realistically speaking.
I mean, it's tough to even determine what's realistic given Kaminga. We have no clue what his trade value is.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, you got to look at the teams that wanted him at some point, right? So like the Kings obviously wanted him at some point. I mean, I would love for Keegan Murray to be in the discussions, but like he has like a thing with his contract where like you got to take like not double his contract, but you got to take extra money on his contract. You don't just get a one for one swap with the money. So that's probably something to stay away from all in
He
general.
makes a lot of
Um,
money.
yeah, I mean, I don't think he make a ton of money, but like the way his contract is set up, the money that you inherit just goes up somehow. Like it's just a weird thing.
Yeah,
But
I know he signed for like a 5 year 150 though.
yeah, I gotta double check. But anyway, but him, he would be a great get, but I don't think just because of that contract, and I don't think the Kings are really trying to move off him. He's not really a target, so it'll probably be something like Keon Ellis. Um, but they desperately need a scorer, so obviously pie in the sky is Trey Murphy, MPJ, something to try to get MPJ. That's like best case scenario. They get either one of those two guys, then we can really see the noise that they can make. Outside of them, you look at the Mavericks and see like, hey, are they moving Daniel Gafford? You maybe even look at the Nets again and see if they trying to move Nick Claxton. Like I don't really want to move JK for a center, but it helps the team if Steph has like a high level rim finishing pick and roll big. Like that generates a lot of offense right there because you would just the quality of shots to go up and you just get easy dunks and stuff like that. Um, look at Chicago at Kobe White. It's another, guard that can just, generate some more offense. Uh, so yeah, those really the main guys. Like right now, just assuming that Kaminga has some level of a trade value, see what you can attach to him to go for a Trey Murphy or go for an MPJ. Like that's like best case scenario. Then the next level will probably be like a Kobe White or like a Daniel Gafford or something like that. And then if you don't have anything going there, then you might have to settle for like a role player like Keon Ellis or like Io or something like that from Chicago. Just like kind of sell low at that point. But something's got to be done.
Yeah, something definitely gotta be done. You familiar with that dude? His name TK on X. Uh,
TK.
Tim something.
Tim
He
Kawakami.
yeah, him.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, he said something like about two moves happening or something like that. He had just released the article, I think today or yesterday, and basically like two moves is like kind of guaranteed to happen. When I don't know, but Jonathan Kaminga contract is obviously a huge factor. It's like what 22 million, I think. So Honestly though, like I know this guy makes a lot of money, and we would probably have to attach more people to it. But I was kind of looking from like a realistic standpoint. I
Hmm.
was looking at like Sabonis, Sacramento. Like I think he'll be a great fit with us. Like he can play make, he can shoot, he can rebound, he gives them more size. Defensively, he sucks, but you surround him with guys like Draymond, Jimmy, Mose, and they kind of make up for that in a sense. I just thought that was a idea. Would be too bad. Obviously, Trey Murphy is the clear cut target here. It's just that I don't know if New Orleans is willing to move him like that, especially just like for a Kaminga. So it'll be interesting for sure.
Hmm.
Sadiq Bey, he's a guy that fair amount of money. He's been pretty solid to start the year off. Um, yeah, it's a lot of ways you can go with this man, but nonetheless, a trade is obviously needed. Uh, we need that third score like on a night to night basis for sure. Like come a playoff series, you're gonna need that. So like when you look at the youth on this team though, like Brandon, Kaminga, Moses, Quinn Post, are you satisfied with what you've seen from them thus far? Like 28
Definitely
games?
not.
Definitely
I
not.
mean, definitely not. I mean, I'm satisfied with Post and Moses.
Okay.
I think, but it also correlates with they have the easiest roles. They
Fair.
just 3-and-D players. Moses is a 3-and-D wing and Post is a 3-and-D center. They've done that to the best that I can expect them to do, right? Neither one of them are like all-stars or whatever. They're a little bit streaky with their shot and they're a little bit hot and cold with their defense sometimes too. But for the most part, they've been relatively consistent and just good positive players for the Warriors. So cool with them. Obviously, the Kaminga thing has kind of been disastrous at this point. He finds himself out of the rotation again. Um, is just the fit is too weird. And then we needed, I don't know about expected, but we really needed Pods to take a noticeable leap offensively, being the guy that can consistently generate offense for them, whether it be off the ball as a two or as a backup point guard. He hasn't done that well. I think maybe for the first time in his career, he's like negative net rating or something like that. They're not really winning his minutes as much as they used to in the past. And yeah, they've been desperately needing some dynamic offense, and those two guys were supposed to be able to provide it, and they just haven't, and they haven't been that great on defense either. Um, and I think Will Richard has been like kind of exceeded, what we expected. We didn't really know if he was going to play or not, but he's been a good player when he plays. The numbers when he's on the court, as far as the team numbers, aren't great, but I think that's not really his fault. I think it's a coincidence like that, negative coincidence, but he's been good. So that's kind of how I look at it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What about the vets though? Me myself personally, man, I ain't gonna lie. Draymond got to get it together. He got to, man. Like
For
a
sure.
lot of people were saying that he is not tradable, he's not movable, but I disagree with that. Like if Klay Thompson can get gone, Draymond can too, because Klay Thompson was just as important to this dynasty just as Draymond is. I'm just being honest about it. Like
Mhm.
Klay saved our ass plenty of times during those championship runs, and let's not forget that he didn't. So, but he got to get it together. Like the turnovers, like the predictable ass passes he be throwing, like it just be so readable and predictable. Like
Yeah.
you know, just kind of stinking it up on offense. Like defensively, he's still legit for sure, but offensively though, he got to come on with it though. Just kind of being that playmaker and run the offense. So I say Jimmy too. He don't get a pass. Like he has to kind of be better in a sense. But to be fair, Steve Kerr got to probably play more so towards Jimmy's strength and not like that motion style offense that we kind of run for Steph. Like just run the offense through Jimmy, let him do his thing. So
Hmm.
yeah, then Steph is Steph. Buddy, he has to improve. D Melt been pretty solid. Still got to start knocking down his shots. Gary has actually been pretty solid. I say I get it to him.
Yeah.
Al Horford, I say kind of iffy. Just nothing
Cool.
too impressive, but nothing too bad neither. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. He's old. Yeah, no better way to put it. So who else? Seth Curry. I love what I've seen from him. The 3 games he's played for sure. Maybe he could crack the rotation a little bit more. But nonetheless, though, the vets got to kind of get together. Like Steph is literally the only person that's up here. Everybody else got kind of figured out for sure. But yeah, I just want Steph to kind of get a better chance at winning the fifth ring, bro. That's kind of only go at this point. So should be
Yeah.
interesting for sure.
No, I was gonna say yeah with the vets. Yeah, I mean obviously Steph is Steph. Like, I mean, I think you put a better team around him than like certain aspects of his game that haven't been that great this season. Like maybe his defense hasn't been that great, but if you put a better team around him, I think his defense goes up. He has more energy because he don't got to do everything on offense and that type of stuff. Jimmy recently has kind of been like a little. I think for the most part for the season he's been pretty good, efficient. You know, like all around player. I think just recently he's been kind of. But Draymond, man, like we all know like what he does for the defense. This season offensively is like the worst I've seen in his entire career. Like he completely been tanking the offense all season. The numbers support it. The offense is like something like crazy worse when he's on the court. He's just got to be more aggressive as a scorer. They got to take the ball out of his hands a little bit more. Like he's just not that dynamic as a scorer or a ball handler anymore. So it makes him running the motion offense a little bit more problematic. Teams are even less scared of him shooting the ball. They're not scared of him driving or making a layup because he can't finish at the rim really no more. At least not from the top of the key. Like maybe as a cutter, yeah, but not at the top of the key. And he's like you said, he's forcing passes that are predictable because these teams know he don't want to score. So they're just sitting on all the passes and he's still throwing them. Turning it over. So that's got to change. I think putting the ball in Jimmy's hands a little bit more when Draymond's on the court and when Steph's on the court helps. Maybe flipping them a little bit and putting Draymond in the corner when Jimmy runs a pick and roll with Steph, that'll help. You know, maybe Draymond can get some more catch and shoots from the corner. He's pretty good from those corner threes, or he can just cut to the basket. But having him be like the point forward, you know, he just that time that he's the point forward got to be cut in half at least, I think, just to save him some turnovers and save their offense a little bit. But he sucks. I'll just maintain that he's not good. Horford started playing a lot better before he got sciatica. So again, he's old. Like I think if you put the right lineups around him, he'll play a lot better. Yeah, and everybody else, you know, Seth is a specialist. When he gets his moment, he'll do what he do. Same thing with Gary. You know, Gary's a defensive specialist. Seth's a shooter. Seth's a shooter. And yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. Draymond got to get his offense together for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. He has to, hold himself accountable because, like, anytime he throws the ball away, he kind of looks at the teammate like it's
he pouts like it was their fault. It's like, bro,
you gotta take accountability for that, bro. Like, so we'll see, man. As time progresses, we played the Dallas Mavericks on Christmas, so I don't know what type of game that's going to be. I mean, they're kind of going through their own struggles in their own right now. You know, the Anthony Davis trade talks and Kyrie Irving still being down. But I think that may be it. I don't think that I'm missing anything unless you got something you want to mention right now.
Nah, not off the top of my head that we haven't already discussed. Yeah. I mean, it's just key point, like they need to make a trade to get some more talent that fits the team. Because Kuminga is a talent, he just don't really fit.
No, he don't. And I'm a huge JK supporter, but I just come to the realization that he just don't fit this team. Like anytime, what is this, year 5 for him? I think, and he's like basically still auditioning for the team. Like that should never not happen. Like when you look at, go ahead.
I would say once they got Jimmy, it was done. Because you got a player that does the same thing than Kuminga does. He just does it better, and he's a veteran. So it was never going to be a runway for JK to fully explore and expand his game within his own skill set. He had to shift his skill set over to fit Jimmy, and he just don't got that skill set. So it is what it is.
Yeah, fair enough. And with Kuminga's standpoint, when you look at guys in his draft class, off the top of my head, Cade Cunningham, he's a guy. Sengun, he's a guy. Evan Mobley, he's a guy. Franz Wagner, he's a guy. Jalen Suggs, he's a guy. Jalen Green, all those guys, like they're established. They're all established players in their own right at this point of their careers. Meanwhile, Jalen Johnson, Kaminga just still figuring it out. So it's just time to move on. Like I'm tired of this Steve Kerr and Kaminga. Like it just ain't there. It's just best to move on. And if Joe Lacob don't see this, Bob Myers, I don't know what to tell you. But you know what's so crazy though, bro? Like us fans, we kind of cowarded. We knew that going to this season we didn't have enough. Like we just knew it. Like I don't think we did was re-sign JK, brought in Gary D-Mail back, Al Horford signed him, and that was basically it, right? I don't think I'm missing anything else. So
Yeah.
But the thing is, we just kind of like depending on leaps. Like we don't have time for that. That's why it's like a tug of war between like mortgaging the picks or just trying to go all in with Steph last year's in the NBA. Is just
right. And I mean, from the front office standpoint, you look at a guy like Pods and you say, okay, he's been good since a rookie. He was really good once we got Jimmy. We can expect him to get even better. Same thing with Moses. We can expect him to get even better. Moses mostly about the same as he was last year, maybe even a little bit regressed, but that leap from Pods, I think it was correct to expect some level of improvement. With JK, I don't think they really expected JK to be on the roster coming into the season. I think they expected to sign and trade him, and then his agency just drug it out all the way to the end, so he had to come back on this team. So that kind of threw a wrench into everything. But it's those two pieces, Pods and JK, I think are the swing pieces, and Draymond. But I trust Draymond to get his offense together if we have better talent. But the swing pieces are Pods and JK, in my opinion. Like if Pods can kind of take that improvement from what he did last year and be more consistent, that changes our team. And if JK can either be turned into a player via trade that can fill that gap, or he can do it himself, that makes the team like way different.
Yeah.
Those are the swing pieces. If those two guys are doing that, then all the other pieces fit in. Moses 3-and-D, post 3-and-D, like all the other role players fit nicely. But now they got to do more because it's a huge talent deficiency in the middle of the roster.
Yep. Yeah, like we play OKC, you can just tell that this team sucks, bro. Like no other way to look at it. Like suck. Like we teased the comeback, but OKC like nah.
Yeah.
So
right. It's like, look, we got Chet, we got J-Dub, like Shea and Steph going mostly cancel each other out. And then, the back end role player guys, they may be a little bit better than ours, but for the most part, they cancel each other out. But we don't have nothing for Chet. We don't have nothing for J-Dub. Oh, Jimmy can cancel out J-Dub. We don't have nothing for Chet. And we really don't got nothing for like Caruso, Dort, like that middle area of the roster. Like we don't have players that can match that. So that's where the biggest gap is for me.
Yeah. You know what, man? Somebody brought it to my attention, and I was like, if we were to have that trade that the Dallas Mavericks had when they made to the finals, when they got PJ Washington and Gafford, and they made our way to the finals, if we were to just get a trade like that, because we have the pieces.
Imagine. We could have made
a trade like that and make it all the way to the conference finals at least. I can see that a win. Like we just need to just say Trey Murphy and Gafford, maybe.
I mean, I might have been asking them to get Gafford when he was getting traded to the Mavericks, like right before. I was on that trade machine looking to see if we can get him, but they didn't do it. But yeah, that's the type of move we need. Something to bolster the middle of your roster, like just get a better version of your fourth and fifth best player. Like then they can do it.
Yeah. And then also, like, did you see that email between Joe Lacob and that fan?
Yeah, the fan had the same name as me. That's the funny thing. People was asking if it was me.
I just find it funny how Steve Kerr said he thought it was nothing. Like, that's definitely something, sir.
Definitely something.
That's not something you just overlook. Like, anytime an NBA owner responds to a fan email, like, that's definitely something. So, yeah. It was just funny, though, man. But what did he say? Like changes or something coming?
They was saying something like, "Yo, are you frustrated with the team?" or something like that. He was like, "I am frustrated, but it's a lot more that goes into these things." Like he said, contracts and like coaches' decisions about players, and he was like pretty much saying it's a bunch of stuff going on behind the scenes that's out of my hands. That's kind of like the tone that he was setting. Like the coaching staff and these guys are messing it up.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the whole view.
I don't know. It's like you start the one is they all on the same page, honestly.
They know. I mean, they haven't been on the same page this whole time. This whole 2 timeline plan is.
Nah, it's not.
You know what I mean? Like Steve wants a certain way, Joe Lacob wants a certain way, and Mike Dunleavy has to toe the line between both.
Yep.
And that's how we get to where we at.
Yeah, Joe Lacob love Kuminga for sure. So, but man, we're gonna see how this thing go as the season goes on. Man, we play Phoenix 2 times this week, and then we play Orlando on Monday. So hopefully, we kind of go like a little 3-game streak here and try to get back in the win column, man. It's crazy. We've been through a lot, and we're only 27 games in. So that says a lot. We got a lot more games to go. And me and you could probably link up again, maybe at the start of the year. Because I don't think nothing too crazy is going to go on unless we do a trade. Like last year around this time, we traded for Dennis Schroeder. So, yeah, nonetheless, though, if you ain't got nothing else to say, make sure you guys subscribe to the Golden State Warrior Fan Room Podcast YouTube channel. And with that being said, we out. Peace.